Hey guys, it's Kayla. Welcome back to my channel. This video is just some random questions that I have thought about and wrote down, and they pertain to going through the denture process. Some of them are about extractions or anything to do with going through this process, and just some questions that I think are relevant to everybody or for most people. So the first one is how long after extractions can you start using adhesive? And for me, my dentist said that I was to leave the top denture in the first 48 hours, and then I could remove it to clean my mouth and rinse and everything, and then to put it back in for another 48 hours before, starting to take it out more. Because after extractions, you may have swelling. So if you take it out and then leave it out for a long period of time, you may have swelling during that period, and then you would try to put it back in and you would have more trouble. So that's why they say not to, take it out more within the first 48 hours and the next 48 hours. But as far as, first I'll say, as far as mouthwash, I think it was after the 2 days, the 48 hours, when I did take it out for the first time, I had already had a couple of mouth sores because, wearing something over your gums that you're not used to is going to make you have sores in some places that it rubs because it's not used to having something there. And so I had the Orajel mouthwash for mouth sores, and I've got to take that auto zoom off of this. But anyways, I had the Orajel mouthwash for mouth sores, the alcohol-free version. And right then when I took it out after the first 48 hours, I ended up using it. I'd swish it around easily in my mouth because I did have stitches. And just because it would numb my gums a little bit so that when I did put it back in, it didn't hurt as much. And then as far as the adhesive, I think it was probably about a week after the final extractions that I had that I started to use the powder. If you have fresh extraction holes, then you're supposed to only use the powder. And I wanted to mention, if you do have stitches and you need to use adhesive to keep the denture in, apply the powder like just in your palate area on the roof of your mouth. And don't apply it to the areas that will touch your stitches, because then that could cause you, when you do take it out, to pull your stitches out. So if you do have to start using adhesive and you have stitches still, just apply the powder in the palate area until your stitches are out, and then you can start using it everywhere. And like I said, you're only supposed to use powder on the fresh extractions. And for me, I liked the Fix-A-Dent powder the best, but everyone varies on what they like. Okay. Oh, and the stitches vary in how long they last. Some may fall out. I believe the normal period of stitches is about a week. I think mine lasted maybe a few days after a week, but it really just varies, and some people take them out, themselves. So, if something happens and you do use adhesive and it comes out some, if it's been a few days, it's not going to be that big of a deal, but you just want to make sure that you don't cause any problems to where it doesn't close up correctly because of not having the stitches long enough. Okay, I already said you remove it to rinse out your mouth after the first 48 hours. And that's because of swelling. And if you do have a lot of swelling, then do use the ice packs. You can also, after the first 48 hours, you can also start when you do rinse, you can do your saltwater rinses when you have your denture out. And then if you don't want to take it out to rinse, you can do it with the denture in, like mouthwash and stuff, because within your first couple weeks, you know, with all the extraction areas and stuff like that, you're gonna probably use a lot of mouthwash because your mouth will feel gross, you know, because you're not used to that. So I used a lot of mouthwash. Even if I left it in, I just would swish around the mouthwash just to get, you know, a fresh minty taste in my mouth. Let's see. Okay. And I wanted to mention about bone spurs. I see a lot of people that get bone spurs. I did think that I had one on the very front right here. They pulled those 5 and they didn't stitch them up. They only stitched my back molar area. And within the first week or so, I noticed that I did have like a piece of bone up in the front. And it did bother me a little bit, but now I don't notice it. And I just wanted to mention, you know, caring for bone spurs in case you do have them, and, you know, some of them may be painful. Bone fragments are common, you know, they can be very common after extractions, and usually they heal on their own. But in some cases they can be uncomfortable. And the cause of bone spurs are bone that's surrounding the teeth can often be fractured during the extractions, and that's what the bone spurs come from or are a result to. And in some cases, just having, you know, the bone fragments, or there's different types of bone spurs. There's like slithers and a couple other types, but some of those can cause the healing process to slow, and that's just if they're inside of, you know, one of the extraction holes and they're preventing it from closing up so it won't heal as fast. But in most cases, they are common, and you normally, you know, you don't notice them or they'll go away. In serious cases, you can have, like, if it's so uncomfortable or painful, if it's causing swelling or something, you can talk to the dentist and they can take corrective action. They can remove them. So if you have some and you think they're causing more problems than they should, then just speak to your dentist about it and see if they can, you know, resolve it for you. Okay. Oh, and the last thing that I was going to mention that I had wrote down was, I don't think I've talked about it before, but because you guys know I went to Affordable Dentures, but I know a woman on YouTube that went an alternative way. If you don't, you know, want to go to a dentist, or if you already had your extractions and you're just looking for a partial or a denture, there is somebody online that actually makes dentures and partials and charges a lot less than the dentist. And there's, you know, quite a few people on YouTube and other places that talk about the person and have really good reviews. So I feel like I wouldn't mention it if I didn't think that a lot of people have had, you know, a good result from this person. But the guy's name is Russell Klein, and I believe he's a, you know, a denturist. I think he was retired or something. But he works off of the website Etsy.com, and he makes dentures and partials. And I looked on the website, and an ultra denture, you know, just the one, is $200. So if you bought full uppers and full bottoms, that'd be $400. And then a partial is $100 per partial. And I believe I've heard that the impression kit that he sends to you is like $50, but I couldn't find it on the website just a minute ago. But I think that's about how much it is. And I've heard really good things. If you have, you know, no other way to afford getting the denture or partial, then I would look into this route. If you are thinking it or considering it, I would really recommend you guys looking up someone on YouTube called Margaret Colbert. She went through the Russell Klein. She recorded the whole process on her channel, and is still doing updates and stuff. I think she actually got 2 different sets from him. But I like watching her channel. She's a really, really nice lady. And I figured, since I was bringing up, this alternative for you guys, just to widen your options, that I would send you her way so that you can get more information about him in particular, because where I went to Affordable Dentures, I don't have as much information. Um, she would have more, information on this topic than I do, even if I did a lot of research. So I just thought I would bring that up because, it took a lot. I got the new denture wear package, and with the cost of extractions and everything else, sometimes you just can't afford to do it. Ever since I've done it, it's made me be broker than I normally am, if that's even a word. But it was a big hit of money for us. So if you have no other way, or if you just have, maybe you've seen reviews on him as well, and that's the route that you want to go, I just thought I would bring it up for you guys and give you another option. So I'll go ahead and maybe put the link for him in this description box, and I'll go ahead and link her channel as well. I'm sure there's probably some other ones that have done, videos about him, but this is the one that I watch the most and really like her channel. So I'll put the link down below. And if you guys come up with any more questions, these are just a few questions that I come up with tonight and thought that I would share with you guys in case I haven't talked about these things before. So if you have any other suggestions or questions about, your part when you're going through this process and you think of something that you want to know, feel free to ask me. I'll link my email in the description box as well. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I hope you guys have a wonderful work week if you have to work. Have a great night.